The dining table had been extended with the extra leaf, the one that always wobbled slightly no matter how many times Dad tightened the screws. Mom had set out the good plates, which meant the evening had been decided as important. I noticed these things the way you notice weather, automatic, detached. Because in this house, importance usually arrived with a script I wasn't meant to improvise. My sister sat at the head of the table, glowing in the soft light, her phone face down for once. She had that buoyant patience of someone who knows the room is waiting for her. Dad cleared his throat. He liked to clear his throat before moments he wanted remembered. When he handed her the envelope, he didn't sit back down. He stayed standing, smiling in that proud, uncomplicated way that made his shoulders look broader than they were. She opened it slowly, theatrically, and the rune leaned in. Flights, hotels, a route traced across countries like a promise. Europe, fully paid. Dad hugged her. "You deserve the world," he said loud enough to crown the sentence. Applause broke out. Mom's hands, my aunt's, the kind that fills space even when it's thin. My sister laughed, half crying, already narrating future photos. I watched the condensation slide down my glass and tried to remember when I'd last heard that sentence directed at me. My gift came next. A small envelope. Inside, a plastic card. $20. The logo of a coffee chain I didn't go to because I worked from home and made my own. Dad didn't stand for this one. He stayed seated, leaned back, folded his hands. "It's not about the amount," he said before I had time to smile. "It's about learning gratitude. About not measuring love in money." I nodded. I even laughed a little because that's what made these moments end faster. I'd learned that early silence reads as agreement when people don't want complexity. I didn't point out that the mortgage autopay was set to my account, or that my freelance work, quiet, boring, reliable, had kept this house afloat since Dad's hours were cut. Those facts had never been ceremonial. They didn't come with applause. After dessert, while my sister scrolled through itinerary options, I carried my plate to the sink and washed it. The water was too hot, the kind that stings but doesn't quite hurt. I dried my hands and went to my room. I packed only what mattered. Clothes folded quickly, chargers gathered. My laptop slipped into its sleeve. I paused at the doorway and looked back, not dramatically, just to check I hadn't forgotten anything essential. There was nothing else. I left the key on the counter. No note. Notes feel like arguments written in advance. The apartment I found was small and clean and quiet in a way that felt earned. The first night I slept badly. Not from regret, but from the unfamiliar absence of background noise, voices, expectations, the constant hum of being named. I didn't announce my move. I didn't need to. My parents texted once, then again, casual messages that assumed I was busy, that assumed return. I answered politely. Distance is easy to misread when it doesn't come with anger. A week later, the call came. It was Mom. Her voice was thin, stretched. "The bank sent a notice," she said, as if the notice itself were the problem. The payment didn't go through. I sat on the edge of my bed and listened. There was confusion first, then the scramble for explanations that didn't quite land. Dad took the phone. He sounded tired, not angry. That was new. "Did you change something?" he asked. "Yes," I said. It felt strange to say it so plainly. I moved out. I closed the automatic payments. Silence, then the brutal crack of realization. The world doesn't end loudly when structures fail. It ends in paperwork, in deadlines, in a voice from the bank that doesn't care who deserves what. "We didn't know you were," Mom began. "I know," I said. They cried. Not theatrically. The kind of crying that leaks out when control slips and there's no one to blame comfortably. They talked about stress, about how hard things had been, about family. They didn't apologize. Not really. But they named the thing at last that I had been carrying weight. "I can help," I said when the words settled, but not the way it was before. Dad asked what that meant. "It means boundaries," I said. "It means clarity. We can talk numbers. We can put things in writing. Or you can make other arrangements." There was no triumph in it, just steadiness. saying it felt like placing furniture in a room that had been empty too long. My sister's photos started appearing a few days later. Cobblestones, wine glasses, captions about dreams. I liked one. Not to be kind, just because I did. Her joy didn't threaten me. It had never been the problem. The house didn't suddenly become fair. It didn't need to. What changed was smaller and more durable. My absence had weight now. Not as punishment, but as fact. I paid what we agreed on. On time. Professionally, when Dad thanked me, it was awkward, halting. He didn't say I deserved the world. He said he appreciated the help. It was enough. Some nights, I still think about the table, the wobble of the extra leaf, about how easily silence becomes a habit. Then I open my laptop, do my work, and close it again. The room stays quiet, not empty. Just finally mine.